with this fiery energy coming back, we might feel more erratic, more impulsive, because that can be that energy, because the planets that are meant to move us forward are not wanting to move forward at this time. And they're not in signs that they love to be in at this moment in time either. Welcome to the Story of Spirit podcast, where practical spirituality meets real life. Hi, I'm your host, She Tells Story. I'm a psychic medium, grief support counselor, professional astrologer, and a human design reader, and of course, a law of attraction master coach. With my unique blend of spiritual and practical tools, I am here to help you align with your soul-led purpose and ignite a life that sets your soul on fire. In this podcast, we are going to explore the principles of energy, astrology, spirituality, and psychology to help you heal your grief and create an aligned life and business from the inside out. Whether you are looking to deepen your intuition, understand your cosmic design, or transform your business, this podcast is for you. Join me each week for insightful discussions, practical tips, and inspiring stories that will guide you on your journey to living your very best life. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at She Tells Story or wherever you listen to this podcast. Let's dive in and start this transformative journey together. Welcome to the Story of Spirit podcast. Welcome to the Astro forecast for the week of March 17th through to the 23rd. How are you feeling? Woo-wee! Mercury just went retrograde. Venus is retrograde. We just had that eclipse. It is an intense time, y'all. March is one of the most intense months of the year. And are you using your spiritual tools? Are you grounding yourself? Are you taking a deep breath using the STOP acronym? STOP. Soda. It's a soda, not stop. Soda. Stop, observe, discern, and act, right? You're not reacting, you're responding. So this week, we start out the week on a third quarter phase of the moon in Libra. So the moon is losing light now, and Libra is a very conciliatory sign. It's trying to find a win-win for everybody. But sometimes a win-win comes at the expense of yourself because you're trying to sacrifice to make other people happy. So this week, you're really noticing those sacrificial vibes of yours and asking for what you need. And, if it's not a win-win, then you can obviously go with no deal, right? It's not a win-lose. You don't have to agree to a win-lose because that's what you've done your whole life. You get to choose no deal. Sorry, I'm not going to do that. Or let me get back to you. You know what I decided? I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to support you during this time, but get back to me at another time, or keep me in mind for the future. Like, there's lots of really nice ways to say no kindly. And if you're an empath, a highly sensitive person, saying no can feel hard because you can feel what the other person is feeling, especially during these times of very sensitive energy in the zodiac. So if you're having a hard time saying no, ask ChatGPT. My God, I love ChatGPT so much. How do I respond to this? How do I say no kindly? And cut and paste the response into ChatGPT and see what you get. Super helpful. So our first major aspect of the week is Wednesday, March 19th, and this is the Sun conjunct Neptune. So this happens once a year as the Sun comes to sit on the same degree as Neptune. And the Sun represents our vitality, our energy, our ego, not our egoic will, but the way we feel about ourselves. And Neptune is spirituality, one love, empathy, kindness, can be confusion as well. It's very foggy, very murky, very everything like rose-colored glasses. We just want to love everybody. So this is not a great time to make big decisions, of course, because Venus and Mercury are retrograde right now, but also because you can't see things clearly. So this energy diffuses our energy. So you could feel very lazy, very tired. Naps are going to be on the docket for this week for sure, for me anyways, as well. Also because I'm catching up on some sleep lost. But we definitely want to make sure that you're giving yourself time to slow down because it's not an energy of fast. Not at all. So it's a deeply spiritual and dreamy day. This aspect enhances intuition, creativity, and compassion. What a powerful time for meditation, artistic expression, and connecting with your higher self. So this is really great for creativity, for musicality, for creative writing. Really wonderful as you tap into that inspirational spiritual self. Not so great for trying to get concrete things done. There can be a lot of confusion and disillusionment. So it can feel draining and you might even be falling into escapism. So being really careful, this energy makes us very sensitive. So if you do, partake in, some therapeutic drugs, I would say really bank on less during this time or none if you can, because you're very sensitive during this energy. So a little bit goes a long way. On Thursday, March 20th, we have the sun moving into Aries. Happy new astrological year. This is going to feel like a new year-ish because we have two of the personal planets still retrograde. So not really feeling that forward momentum really coming in. And it's Aries' birthday. Happy Aries season. Now the fire is coming back, y'all, after we've been away for a while. And we still have sort of Mars very slack ass trying to move forward. It's still coming out of its Mercury or its retrograde era. So it's not really in a place where it's moving forward, still sitting in a sign that it doesn't really love to be in, which is Cancer. So we're not feeling the it's time to go vibes, right? Where I think we're going to feel more of that in May, to be honest. April, May. I think part of the way of April. So happy birthday to all the Aries. The zodiac resets the Aries season, bringing fiery, bold, action-oriented energy-ish, because Mercury, which is the planet of communication, thought processing, is not direct. It's still in retrograde, meaning we are meant to reassess, review, and revise. And Venus, what we love and value, is also retrograde. So we're really in a place of revising, reviewing our values, our lifestyle with our values. Are we passionate about this? Why is this here if we're not passionate about it? And Mars is still sitting in Cancer, where we're like, what makes me feel safe? So none of that energy is like, go, let's go, get in the van. None of that energy is that. So you might feel like the energy is renewing, but it's like, what is your fire? That's more so the question. It's like, what's your fire? What is making you feel fiery? Because you're still feeling fiery. I know I'm feeling fired up about a lot of things that are happening in the news. And it's, how do you want to create a life that's in alignment with that fire? That's what's coming up now. So with this fiery energy coming back, we might feel more erratic, more impulsive, because that can be that energy, because the planets that are meant to move us forward are not wanting to move forward at this time. And they're not in signs that they love to be in at this moment in time either. So this Aries is going to feel very different this year. Next year, Aries looks way different. It's going to be a very different energy. So it's a time to really just see what motivates you. See what's calling to your heart. Is there something you want to start now? What does that look like? You might not necessarily want to start it now because, again, everything's in retrograde, but it's not a time to push. Really be careful of impulsivity and impatience now. And because of that Neptune with the sun, not a time to make big investments, change your money plans, do anything big. It's just not a time for that. Friday, March 21st, Venus retrograde is sextile to Pluto. This is deep emotional insights around finances and values. Things that you value are going to come to the surface. This aspect supports transformational healing in love and money matters, helping you to uncover deep hidden patterns. Now, what helps you uncover hidden patterns? Is it winning the lottery? Well, yes, it would be, because if you don't keep your money, you'll spend it and it'll just exacerbate old patterns, right? So we don't learn lessons by laying on a beach in Hawaii. Like, it just doesn't happen. We learn lessons as we are going through things. And because it's March, you might get a notice from the tax man saying you owe some money. And you're like, oh. And if you learn the lesson, Venus retrograde, you have the money set aside. And if you didn't learn the lesson, you're like, I'm going to take a payment plan and I'm going to take the penalty and I'll know for next year. True story, y'all. All right, Saturday, March 22nd, the Sun conjuncts Venus retrograde. So, this is a really important time in the astrology. And it's so interesting because I can hear my beautiful astrology teacher in spirit whispering in my ear about this lesson. I remember having a very big conversation with her about this. So, Venus is a planet of what we love and value, beauty, aesthetics, and money. Okay. And then the Sun is about our vitality, how we feel about ourselves, our identity. And so these two planets come together a few times in a year. But when it does so, when Venus is retrograde, what happens is Venus is an evening star before this retrograde conjunction, before this happens. So it'll be an early, as the sun is setting, you'll see Venus in the night sky bright and beautiful. When this conjunction comes together, she becomes a morning star, meaning she's now rising ahead of the sun. So it's very kind of a late morning, kind of late night, early morning star. So she's now going to be a morning star. And when Venus becomes a morning star, I remember my teacher so clearly saying this to me. That is a very warrior-like signature. She's fiery during that time. And it is a time when there is more, I'm going to say, of course, and she's an Aries too. So she's going to be more, not combative is the word, fiery, more hot. Like there's passion, yes, but she's warlike during this time. So it's going to be interesting to notice with the climate that we are in right now, political and geopolitical climate, that they're going to, I think, going to be more clashes. And I know what's coming to mind as well is Europe coming together, so much so because America has been starting to move away from the world stage and wanting to kind of create its own reliance on itself versus globalization. And it feels like there's going to be some sort of clash happening in the world after this time. So it'll be interesting to notice. Astrology is just the energy, and we use a lot of predictive cycles, right? What happened the last time this cycle came about in this sign, back when it happened, how many times it happened. So we're looking for these similarities in prediction, right? Predictive astrology is considered risque because we can't actually predict things because there's so much free will, right? There's so many people that could choose to go one way or the other, right? So in this energy, it's going to be interesting to notice as she becomes a morning star, which will change as she goes direct later and then comes to sit with the sun later in coming months. So, but these next couple months, she's going to be a morning star. So, moment of clarity in love, money, and self worth. This is a turning point in Venus retrograde's journey, helping you to see what truly matters in relationships and finance. So, you can see that there's a bit of a trend here with finances and money, and how the work that you've been doing on yourself, how you treat money. I like to have a money day where I just organize all the things to do with money. I'll check all my accounts, check all my credit cards, make sure reconcile all the things, do my business accounting, and haven't been able to do it. If my accountant is listening, I'm sorry, I haven't got to that part of my money day in a little bit, but I'm getting caught up on it this week. So this is a time now to really make money, your practice with money, something that feels really good and supportive to you. Okay. And then Sunday, March 23rd is the last aspect of the week, and it's the Sun sextile to Pluto. So a powerful day for transformation, courage, and stepping into leadership. This energy supports deep self-discovery and major breakthroughs. It's a great day for having a deep conversation with somebody who you trust, or doing a retreat or some sort of meditative practice to go deeper. Also really good, this energy is really good for research and kind of really digging up dirt on things, or getting to the bottom of things, not necessarily dirt per se, but getting to the bottom of things. Embrace personal power, initiate bold moves and changes, and let go of what no longer serves you. So, initiating bold changes or moves, it's not really a great time for that. I mean, that's a textbook explanation of it. And I would say, because of all the retrograde energy, I would say just be careful to make impulsive moves. More so, really avoiding power struggles and controlling behavior yourself, and but stepping into your own power. Right, Pluto is powerful. It is death, rebirth, and transformation. It can also be possessiveness and jealousy. It's intensity, right? It's death and rebirth, so it's that transformation of it. So when the sun comes together with Pluto, you could have some really deep insights today about yourself and some of the patterns that you are continuing to live in your life, and what do you want instead. So, and thank goodness it's a Sunday, but it's also going to spill over onto the Monday, Tuesday too. So just noticing where you're being hard on yourself, and where can you lighten up. And if you're getting into power struggles with other people, take a step back, right? SODA. Stop, observe, discern, and act, not react. We don't want that. And what is the outcome you desire? I really, really feel like I want to say that is, where does the outcome you desire? And what then, if you work that back, what is your move now to get to that outcome? Right? I'm always working into, what do I want from this, instead of being in the moment. And, sometimes it feels really good to tell somebody off. It just feels like a great release until you had the reckoning and you have to deal with it. I mean, like, okay, I'm sorry I said that. Or, I meant what I said, but maybe I could have said it in a different way, So instead of that, ask what you want, and how do you get there? How do you get what you want in the end? Because sometimes it isn't the telling off. I would say probably 99%, 99.9% of it is never the tell off route. I hate to break it to you. So, wishing you a wonderful day of awareness, of responding, not reacting. No big moves this week. Again, please don't cut your bangs unless you've been thinking about it. And, hold off on the tattoo, because there's so much sensitivity in the zodiac right now. It could be really hurtful. It could just feel more sensitive than usual. Also, because of the Neptune conjunct the sun. If you're dyeing your hair, it also can mess up with the pigmentation too. So wild, I know. Sensitivity abounds this week. And it's also a highly intuitive week. So tap into those feelings, tap into your intuition, do your intuitive exercises. If you're in my MIA Academy, tap into those exercises, and I will see you next week. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Story of Spirit podcast. I hope you have found inspiration, support, and practical insights to help you align with your soul-led purpose and live a life that sets your soul on fire. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to the podcast, leave a review, and share it with a friend. Your support helps us to reach more listeners and continues to provide valuable content. I sincerely appreciate every share, and I know it is how most people find me. It is because caring people like you have shared me with them at the right and perfect time. For more resources, insights, and to connect with our community, please visit us at www.shetellstory.com and follow us on Instagram at shetellstory. Remember, your journey to a more aligned and vibrant life is just the beginning, and I am here to support you every step of the way. Until next time, stay aligned, stay inspired, and keep shining your beautiful light. This is Shetell Story, signing off from the Story of Spirit podcast. Here's the legalese that's required by our lawyers. This podcast and the YouTube channel represents the opinions of Shetell Story and her guests to the show. The content should not be taken as medical, psychological, or financial advice. This series is informational and entertainment purposes only. Because each person is so unique, please consult your healthcare professional, your mental health dream team, your financial advisor, or anyone else that's an expert in the field in where you are thinking of making big choices in your life.